So today the Packers faced off against the Denver Broncos in a joint practice before their preseason game, which will be taking place on Sunday. And so I want to go over some of the biggest takeaways from the different reporters who were there. And we'll start off here looking at sort of a summary from these reporters, then go a little bit more in depth on a more per play basis. If you guys are new to the channel, I put out Packers content pretty much every day. And so if you want to stay up to date with all things Packers, feel free to subscribe and turn on the post notifications down below. So first off, from Nick Kosmider, strong day for Bo Nix versus a good Packers front. Play of the day was a quick fire throw to Dorsett for a 12-yard touchdown against airtight coverage. So rookie Bo Nix, who is likely going to be the Broncos quarterback of the future, playing well against a Packers team that has been, I think, has made improvements this offseason with Jeff Hafley coming in, has played really well throughout most of training camp, and today Bo Nix looks really good versus the Packers defense. So I guess not great for the Packers defense, good for Bo Nix. Then from Eric Delila, we have 5 combined 2-minute series to end practice, and Denver was 5 of 5. The Broncos defense won all 3 with 2 fourth-down stands and an interception. Denver's offense was successful in both of its attempts. Strong showing to end the joint practice. So all I'm seeing so far is mainly positives for the Broncos, not quite as much for the Packers. Then another one from Nick Kosmider, if I'm saying his name right. Top obvious takeaway, Broncos were much sharper, focused, and efficient than they were in last year's joint session with the Rams. So that's more so some Broncos news. Then from Benjamin Albright, maybe the Packers aren't taking the joint practice that seriously as the Broncos are. Broncos dominated on both sides of the ball and moved the ball, period. So not great for the Packers. Then here from Parker Gabriel, feels like it was a pretty good day for the Broncos overall against a talented Packers team. QBs and secondary stood out. Packers defensive front was disruptive. That's been something that has been very evident throughout all of Packers training camp, pretty much from the beginning of camp when Jordan Love wasn't even practicing. The defensive line has been very disruptive with this new Jeff Hafley scheme, the new style, less read and react, more just explode through the hole. And they finish, never know what it means in the grand scheme, but a good day at least. Then here from Eric Delala, Broncos head coach Sean Payton after joint practice with the Packers, quote, overall, I was really pleased. So as you can see, pretty much everyone there noting how it was the Broncos who were putting on a better performance than the Packers in this joint practice. And it's always tough to know, how much do you take away from this in a joint practice? How much is this really going to, give us a sign of what's to come for the regular season? It's hard to know, but a good sign for the Broncos. Now here's some more Packers updates. Here we have from Matt Schneidman. I'm going to read some of his tweets from him being there. Great Packers reporter for The Athletic. He has here some notes from first 11 on 11 period. Jacobs probably would have had big run up right side on second play. Love hit Wicks for nice gain up right side on first pass. Clifford, big completion to Heath, wiped out by false start. Love hit Musgrave wide open on a crosser. Pratt, short hops throw to wide open Bo Melton. Surtain, great pass breakup versus Dobbs on comebacker. Bomb from Love to Watson, incomplete, but Riley Moss, Iowa, flagged. Jacob Monk held Tyler Davis back from starting a scuffle. Couple Packers runners got popped. So a few good plays there. So it's not like it was all bad for the Packers, but overall in these team periods, the Broncos were winning here. Then from Nick Kosmider, strong work from Packers D-line during 11v11 that focused on first and second down. Lucas Van Ness and Preston Smith were consistently in the backfield. Kingsley and Agbare had what may have been a sack. So we already touched on that D-line. Then from Nick again, still a couple splash plays to be had. Nick's hit Tim Patrick on a good boot action play and later found Josh Reynolds on the sideline. Zach Wilson with a good deep throw on the run to Brandon Johnson. And then here we have a mini scuffle during practice. Matt Schneidman says, we have our first mini scuffle with Adam Stenovich and Matt LaFleur caught in the middle. Nick Bonito hit Love's arm as he threw. Ball popped up and Singleton picked it off. Packers weren't happy. Their QB was touched. I mean, if you're an organization and you're watching your quarterback arm get hit, especially the guy you just paid $55 million a year, I'd be a little concerned. Of course, you never want to see quarterbacks hit in practice, Nick Bonito hit in Love's arm, but Jordan Love seemed fine, and it didn't seem to be too big of a problem. Then from Matt Schneidman, that's at least 3 false starts for the Packers today. Believe 2 were from the backups. So a sloppy day for the Packers there with the false starts. Then from Nick, second team period began with Rashawn Gary wrecking things for Broncos offense. Love to see it. But Denver threw punches back. Nick's with a big 3rd and long completion to Sutton. Stidham with a pretty over-shoulder ball to Jaleel McLaughlin down sideline. Wilson hit Cruel deep up the seam. And then we have here from Matt Schneidman again. Matt Orzech, who is the Packers' long snapper, just had to be pulled away from starting a scuffle during a punt drill and then snapped it over Daniel Whalen's head out of the back of the end zone on the next play. And then another one, rough period near in red zone for Packers offense. Lots of incompletions, 1 sack of Love by P.J. Locke, 1 touchdown to Musgrave in the flat. So somewhat inconsistent day for the Packers offense, what I think has been on and off depending on the practice. There's been a lot of interceptions thrown, 20 plus per Packers reporters in these almost a little over 2 weeks of practice for the Packers. And then from Schneidman, Love goes deep to Watson, who has to come back on it. Ball is incomplete with good coverage from Jaquan McMillan. One Broncos coach tells Love to stop throwing at him. Then here we have a kicker update from the Packers, where we still know there's a kicker competition going on between Carlson and Joseph. And, of course, Alex Hale is still here. Anders Carlson made from 45 and 53. Greg Joseph made from 46 and 52. Alex Hale made from 47, but from 51 it was blocked and an offsides was called. And so the Packers kicker situation is still probably the biggest concern for me on this Packers team, because once we have, big games coming down to the wire, these guys haven't given me a lot of hope so far this training camp. They've hit around 80 to 83, 84% of kicks, which is sort of below average, but we'll see if one of them can catch fire come the season. That's my hope as a Packers fan. Matt Schneidman, Packers' number 1 offense goes 4 and out, gaining just 1 yard in end-of-game scenario. Ball at own 40, down 3, no timeouts, 1:10 left. Short completion to Jacobs, then 3 incompletions with 2 near picks. So a really, really bad day. And as I said, how much can you take from this? Maybe a little bit. It's just, I'm not going to say, okay, the Packers had a bad day. Offense was stalling. The Packers offense is going to stink this year. It's probably not going to be the case. This is a very, very good offense. I think you have to give props to the Broncos defense today. But I assume the Packers will figure out what went wrong here. And hopefully, in training camp, when you have a bad practice, it can lead to some improvement, figuring out the kinds of things you need to improve on. And it sounds like today there's going to be a lot of lessons for the Packers to take away from here, and better to happen in a joint practice than once the regular season comes around. Then from Schneidman, after missing 3 picks between 1s and 2s 2 minute, Broncos finally get one. Clifford underthrows deep ball down middle to Stanley on 3rd and 9, and Reese Taylor picks it off. So Clifford's struggles this camp continue there with a pick. He's had some nice plays, it seemed, at least a couple completions, but a pick there. Then another one. Packers' number 1 offense got another shot in 2 minute, and it didn't go much better. 3 straight completions to Musgrave twice and Dobbs, but a sack and incompletion result in another turnover on downs. Yikes. And that's pretty much it from the practice today. So, as you can see, a really down day for the Packers. Hopefully they can take some things away from here. And I'm not one to look at one practice and say, oh no, they had a bad practice, this is the end of the world. It's just a practice. It's one practice. I think the Packers will be fine. We've seen what they can do throughout the whole season, and I think it's just a day where you learn from it and you move on going forward. But I'll be curious to watch the game on Sunday night. I'm pretty sure most of the Packers starters will not be playing. Not sure if any will be playing. We'll see what happens there. And I will be out with a recap video for this game on Sunday, so stay tuned. Make sure you have the post notifications turned on so you do not miss that video. But thank you for watching. You can follow me on Twitter, LukeBeller3. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.